Malaysia has so much talent, our academics are amazing. Like this guy, this woman, wonderful leaders of our society to bring it to the next level in fitness. And now, Azizah Zain, who seems to think that if you learn English first, you will destroy your Jati Diri. So this Professor Azizah Zain is saying that we shouldn't teach English so early to children because apparently it's going to destroy their hashtag Jati Diri, my favorite concept. Just a while ago in Harian Metro, she was talking about how Malay is very important, bahasa jiwa bangsa, bahasa kebangsaan type thing right there, no problem. But next thing our genius professor does is she starts talking about hierarchy bahasa, and she says, from a cognitive standpoint, the mastery of two languages is beneficial, although it has to be remembered that the hierarchy of languages is important. Your Malay as your mother tongue and the national language has to be a strong foundation before you master a second language. And apparently, if English becomes too dominant too early, then kids won't learn how to think in Malay. If you have kids, make sure that they master Malay first until they're 7 or 8 before you start teaching them foreign languages like English. Wow. Wow. Thank you for your deep wisdom, Prof. The only way that I could benefit even more from your wonderful wisdom is if any of what you said was actually true. That's right, there is no actual research that shows that what this woman is talking about is actually legit. And yeah, okay, apparently this woman has a PhD in early childhood education from UPSI. Like, I doubted myself for a while and I started questioning my reality at first. But if you look at her publications, you see that there is basically nothing even when you start looking at this idea of bahasa. There's nothing about this idea of English, or for that matter, Malay. Not a single thing about language at all. But somehow this woman wants to present herself as a so-called expert. And you have to wonder, right? Why is this so-called professor going out there and then trying to talk about how you shouldn't learn English at the start when she has no proof for it, she has no research for it? Why is she even talking about something that she doesn't know about? I mean, what the research shows actually is that if you were to learn language at an early age, you'll be able to master both English and Malay at an early age. Like, even if you are Mahathir's granddaughter, it's not like it's just one or the other, right? Because at the end of the day, what matters most is the environment that you're in. Like, whether you actually have good teachers or whether you have exposure to both English and to Malay. It's not like either one or the other, kan? But it's not like this professor actually cares, cause all she does is come out and talk about how you need to protect your Jati Diri, when actually you can protect your Jati Diri by speaking in Malay, but you can also do it by speaking in English. There's nothing wrong with that. Even though some of these people, they somehow want to narrow themselves into this one particular thing and say that just because you don't speak Malay, therefore you won't learn Malay culture. It doesn't work that way. But seriously, every single time I see a kid like this, I think about professors like these who are just going out and then making statements that aren't actually backed up with evidence, that they are throwing out because they are woke and they want to make sure that everybody has their so-called Jati Diri. But the super messed up thing is, the UPSI that she works at is actually the premier teacher training university in the entirety of Malaysia. So you can just imagine, right? If you have a professor like this who is guided by questionable research, who doesn't even speak in her field of expertise, and when it comes to something as important as children's education, then she just tembak je, right? Then like, what does that say about what the future of the country is going to be? And how many more of the sebab apa gagal BI sebab kita bukan orang British type kids are going to be born, get validated until finally they realize that they cannot get a job, can't contribute to the world, and live their entire lives just pointing out problems in the way that people pronounce things because you can't contribute anything else. Well, if you want someone to thank for that, thanks Dr. Azizah. Terima kasih doktor, terima kasih profesor, bagus, hebat, heboh. I mean, come on lah. Kalau kau nak budak-budak cakap bahasa Melayu, buatlah kelas, buatlah curriculum untuk ajar budak-budak macam mana nak bercakap dalam BM. Don't be going out there and then making things that you cannot back up with evidence, because where is your academic integrity? You think you're a professor, then people aren't going to fact check you and then figure out whether you're actually correct or not? No, it doesn't work that way. It hasn't worked that way ever since we got this little thing called the internet, and it's never gonna work that way again. But yeah, I mean, like, that's what she decided to share apparently. So what do you think, Sapoops? Does teaching children English early on destroy our Jati Diri? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And that's all to say about that, and bye.